Facebook for a few minutes here. So first thing that we talk about in our level one customer service training communication is answer the question. Because I find and I see it all the time. Like for example, somebody asks somebody a question and like so I did a like an icebreaker in the beginning and I said what go around the circle, what's your name, what's your role in the company, and I just picked a random question. What was the name of your very first pet? Some people answered, because it was kind of like an off the cuff thing, and they thought maybe it's not very serious. But I brought it back kind of a few minutes or a while later because some people ended up answering the question that I asked with my favorite pet or my favorite animal is a dog, and I was like, that's not the question that I asked. Going back to the beginning. So answer the question. We see this all the time in Fiji. People ask a question, and because we don't like trust, then but or and let's wait. She asked the question, doing more eggplant. You answered with, we have 12 containers left. That's not the answer to her question. You just have to, like, what was your question? Do we need to order eggplant? Yes, we do. There we go. Done. How much? We need 8 bundles. And so, answer the question is a very, very important part of communication, especially in the South Pacific. Guys, I'm going to put this phone down for the Facebook Live. You guys can go join us on YouTube. Right now, I'm going to cover the last two subjects of our customer service level one training, and then I'll move on with current events and everything. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see you guys very soon. Peace. All right. How is it going, everybody on YouTube? So, you're seeing it here first. Post. Hey, guys, what's up? All right. Yeah, what a day. What a day. So, oh man, my arm gets so sore. Like holding like that. That's like amazingly tiring on the delts, the old delts. I work on my delts.
What did we do today?
So, yeah, we were requested by a company that just started their business in Vanuatu to come and do some customer service training with their staff. And so, like I said, we did our Waka level one customer service training entry level. Hey, she made it just in time for the live. Where were you at?
Just walking home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tired?
Way easier than going to town. It's all downhill.
Maybe you should do that more often.
Yeah, walking home is better.
You can like
cheating. And the road's nice now that they've like.
Oh yeah, they did a logging over there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they did a bunch of logging in our area, and now we don't have to like walk through the mud and the bush and everything. It's still pretty muddy probably,
yeah.
But
yeah, I didn't make my walk this morning, so walk home. Yeah, no dog though. Need Harley. He pulls me half the way when I'm dying when I want to take breaks.
Poor Harley.
Yeah. Come on, dude.
So, what was the second thing that we addressed in our customer service, or that was second thing that we addressed in our level one customer service? So we went over answer the question, and the second thing. It's my pleasure.
Yes, I know this.
What do you think about? No, I know. I'm just saying, like, what do you think? What would you have to say?
What do I have to say about that?
Just like quick summary.
We were just talking about the fact that, like, instead of saying no worries.
No worries.
Yeah, all good. Well, thank you. That it's better say my pleasure, meaning that you are happy to serve people in the moment.
Because to say no problem all the time infers that there might have been a problem. And so if you keep going around your whole day, keep saying it's no problem, it's no problem, it's no problem, it's no problem, you're just like always fixing problems. But if you actually, like I said on Twitter the other like a few days ago, like change the way you talk to yourself, and you'll probably change what you actually believe about yourself. And so like change the way you speak. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's no problem. Thank you for the great service. It's my pleasure.
And even in our store, like when I come in and I ask our staff for something, and they'll do it. Oh, thank you so much, guys. That was great. And they're like, oh, it's my pleasure. And I feel, even though it's something we've implemented in the store, it feels like they are happy to do it, or like the message is different coming from that. And even though I have implemented that, or John's implemented that, like it still feels different.
Yeah.
And then the last thing we worked on is like, what are the basic things that your customer needs when they come in?
Yeah. So not specific, like that can apply to any business. So it's like whatever business you run, like in the background, your staff have to answer each other's questions clearly. It's my pleasure. And then what now customer facing? What do your customers need first? What's the first impression when they walk into your business that would start their experience off right? So after this, then we would go on the next levels when we go into like the customer experience while they're there, and like the final, or like the final experience before they leave. What do you call that?
I
The
don't know. Do you know
last
what I need right
impression?
now? I need a shower.
Okay,
So it would be
peace.
my pleasure to go wash the sweat off
Yeah,
my
it would be
face.
my pleasure for you to go wipe the sweat off your
Yeah,
face.
not smell so
Yeah,
very
exactly.
bad.
Thank you.
Enjoy your live.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So that's a summary of what our level 1 customer service training looks like. So I think it applies to any business, but that is the quick summary. What is going on, everybody? We're gonna start. Oh, what couple to open first ever aesthetics clinic in Fiji? Hey, Steph,
What?
I need some help in this one. Yeah, my face looks like I'm 50 years old these days. Like my cheeks are sagging and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
You're calling me over for aesthetics and I'm in pants.
A husband and wife team is combining their medical passions to bring a new aesthetic clinic to Fiji.
Okay.
Medical Skin and Cosmetic Clinic stands apart by offering medical grade treatments performed by experienced
Ooh,
physicians.
I'm stoked.
State of the art technology. Dude, I can get that Botox I always talk about.
No, okay. What's really great about this is something I said to my mom. There's a dental clinic, in Suva that I thought it was better or the same quality than Canada, and it's way cheaper than Canada. We don't have our dental covered there. So I was telling her, oh, if you need dental work, come on a holiday and just get the dentistry done when you come, and then have a holiday. Same price, but you get a holiday with it instead. And so, if you have different businesses like this come in, if you do a really good job, if it's to a high standard, it's clean, people will come for cosmetic holidays. Like they will come because they can afford it, spend their money on tourism and spend it in your business. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, however, with an
Oh,
aesthetics clinic,
Debbie Downer.
no, this is great. And like they've created a blue sea opportunity for them. We always say blue sea, red sea. They're in a blue sea, a deep blue sea. They have no competition. They're not in the red waters, the bloody waters, and there's lots of competition. And sharks are like eating all the fish. This is blue sea, but if you're the first aesthetics clinic in a country, you need to do some very, very good marketing because
Yeah.
I'm trusting you with my skin, like with my face, like with adjustments. Like I'm assuming that they're gonna be doing these kind of Botox things,
Yeah.
like appearance changes and stuff like that. So
Or even like chemical peels. It's really dangerous stuff. Like even for me, when I go to a hair salon here, it's nerve wracking because I have a different texture hair, and there's only a few salons that I'll trust with my hair because they can melt it right off. Okay, so I'm pretty particular, and I want to see
hey,
other people that have a similar hair texture to me, and I want to see examples on your website that you've been doing this, that you're a professional.
You come and stand behind us and tell everybody what are you about to go do?
What are you doing?
What
Come
do you
here.
do, little? What is this? Las Vegas?
Yeah. What are you playing? Oh, you want the mic? All right.
I'm about to go play money with my friends.
Money,
It's like freaking
money,
gambling over here.
money.
What do you guys? How do you? Wait, okay, I actually don't know. How do you guys play money? What is money? Like you throw it on the ground or something? How does this work?
What do? You take your money and then you throw it at someone else's money,
Yeah.
and then if you miss, what happens?
You start again.
Start again. And how do you win the money? How do you get their money?
You have to throw it at it.
And if you hit it, you get their money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like
How much money are you taking though? Like just take small coins.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's his
Okay,
money.
5 and
Let
10
him
cents.
play.
Dude, well,
He earned it, so if he wants to waste it, he can.
yeah. Well,
But it's kind of
this
like,
is this is like
I know,
this
not your
is
big money.
like a gateway drug to a real issue.
It's kind of like, well, they didn't have pogs here. When I was a kid, we had like pogs.
Oh,
And you'd collect your pogs and you do the same game. You'd like throw it down, and if you hit it, you'd slam it out of the circle. You would take their pogs. You would take their toy. It's kind of the same thing.
oh,
but
really?
for, like small coins. Yeah. I was so good at that game too. Well,
Oh, sorry guys.
hey.
We got an issue here. An issue. You on?
That's okay. We're still on. We just don't
Sorry,
look
guys.
as bright. I think with the aesthetics clinic, I'm excited about it. There needs to be a very high level of professionalism. They have to grow trust with people.
Mm.
They have to show their work constantly.
Okay, I have a suggestion.
Okay.
First client.
Nope, hard pass. Nope.
Take me. Take me.
Yeah, go ahead.
You take down this freaking sale of a nose I got going on. over
Okay.
here.
Except that no.
It's not a sale, okay? It's very I don't know.
It fits your face.
Uh,
You're lucky.
yeah.
It's fine.
Good thing I
Don't
have a
worry
big
about it.
face.
You would have like a Betty Button nose and
Yeah,
just
I
look
want that
like,
little, like,
oh
bloop.
my god.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like-
yeah. Yeah,
dude, it would look ridiculous.
did. Good thing I don't have a cocaine problem.
Yeah, but you have a rather large
Yeah.
head. If you didn't have a decent sized nose, you'd be very disproportioned. Like it would be odd. Don't wish for something. Everybody wishes for
See,
what
Tui
they
has a
don't
nice
have.
nose.
Okay, John just can't get over noses.
All
But
right.
leave him alone. Just because I like my nose. That's my one feature that I've always liked. It's straight. It's not
Yeah.
too big. My grandmother made me obsess over my nose growing up, and so I
Didn't
was.
she make you do like nose grooming
Yeah,
exercises?
she used to like make me. Speaking of aesthetics, and I don't know if this is true. I just used to do it all the time. My grandma was like, "Okay, if you want like a slender, perfect nose and it to be straight, you need to like rub the bridge of your nose." And I would do it religiously every day. And I don't think it actually did anything. I think I was just worried that I would turn out to have like a ginormous nose or something. And then my nose was fine. I think the relief has made it be like, okay, I actually like my nose. It's fine. So paranoid because grandma was judging
it's a
my
bit
nose.
like-
It is not. It is very straight. How rude. Anyway. Okay, can I go shower?
Yeah, you can. So
Please.
there's a risk of sea flooding during the high tides from Nuttandula to the Coral Coast. What?
Boogie boarding season.
Yeah, right. So a high pressure and a low pressure system to the far southwest of us is generating moderately southerly swells over Fiji waters, which could lead to sea flooding of coastal areas. There's a big risk of flooding during high tides. Oh, that explains. So, like this bad weather in Fiji, like this rainy weather that we are not supposed to be having, is probably due to like this low pressure and high pressure system. Pardon me? In the sink. Yeah. We're doing it live, people. We're doing it live. Oh, and the race is on right now. You can probably check that. Yeah. As I said. So I wonder what I assume that like this coastal flooding will be like probably over the road and stuff like that because the road gets pretty close to the the highway, Queens Highway gets close to the ocean and stuff in some parts around there, hey?
Is it happening right now? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like the alert is in force right now. So yeah, sounds like it might be happening right now.
So
Especially at high tide. So
there's a lot of rain going on that side. Yes.
yeah, so yeah, flooding rivers and like super high tides probably won't be a good combination. Like, for coastal villages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Sorry, my feet are falling asleep. That's why I stretch them out every now and then. But I'm going out of frame. Let me answer some questions from you guys yesterday.
Mm.
I would love to do this. As long as they're good. I only answer good questions. Why did you choose to come to Fiji? From Isala_FJ. Well, we decided to come to Fiji. I guess like the simple answer is that my father is Fijian, and so this is where like half of my heritage is in Fiji, and so yeah, and I was born here, so like and we come back all the time to Fiji, like a family, like even though I grew up most of my life overseas, like because there is a lot of families that the spouse, husband meets a wife from overseas or wife meets a husband from overseas, and they just live overseas and they never bring their kids back. So I always talk about it like, oh, it's too bad that my parents or that my dad didn't teach me how to speak like Fijian. Like now I can pick it up. I can get through a conversation, like a very basic conversation. And like I'm slow to like if it's a song or something, I have to listen to it a bunch of times to like get the whole story together. So I'm always like, oh, I wish my dad would have taught me Fijian more so that I could have just fit in more. Like as a kid, I don't care anymore what people think because like I'm a man, and I don't really like go off of like I don't put as much judgment on myself because I don't speak Fijian. But some kids like never, let alone speak Fijian. Like they come home like or come back to Fiji like once or twice, and so I will give props to my dad for like bringing us home like all the time because we came back a lot, like every couple of years we come home, and then like in between being on the missions field because my parents are missionaries. Also, like we come and spend like a few months in Fiji at a time and stuff like that. So I don't know. I always felt like this strange familiarity with that half of myself. Like it was something that I got to experience every once in a while. So I felt like part of my identity was in it, but not well enough to feel like, oh, so I was proud of it, but not knowledgeable in it, if that makes sense. So I came back to Fiji because like um, I believe that we can do something special here, and I have a lot of ties here. So, and I'm not impressed by I'm not really that impressed by a lot of people who are doing business here. There are definitely a few with that we purchase from and stuff like that. That I'm like, oh, you guys are doing cool things, but yeah, blue sea opportunities. Best fishing jig to fish from the docks. Sheesh. Well, that's a question that I wouldn't be able to answer. Actually, in fishing from the docks in Canada, um, if this is in Canada and I'm fly fishing, I'll probably just go with like a stat. If I go for time fly fishing, dry flies, I'll probably just go with like a good old Royal Coachman. It's not actually good old. Not a lot of people know about the Royal Coachman. So, if you want a good fly that works on rivers and lakes, try out a Royal Coachman. It kind of imitates a lot of different insects. If you're talking about jigging from a dock, I mean, I just go with your classic like fluorescent head with the black eye with sparkled like a fluorescent green jig. That's what I would go with. Random. Shuzana underscore. My boyfriend is Fijian. I'm Australian. Will I struggle with the language barrier visiting Fiji? No, not at all. Come over. Like everybody, well, maybe not everybody, like maybe the older generation, you might feel a bit more isolated because people might like if you're in a group, you might like even though everybody speaks English and it's known or it's very clear that you only speak English, like people just default back to their normal language. It's like if a bunch of like Australians, if a Fijian came from Australia and didn't speak English and sat in a group of like Australians, like you guys would, you know, even I guess yeah, because you guys would be able to speak Fijian at that point, but people will just default back to their their first language. I guess it's just what's comfortable. So they're not. We don't do it to be like not include you. It's just like how we communicate best is in our native tongue. So me English. That's just what I default to. Obviously, if I have to, then I will speak in Fijian. And like if people talk to me in Fijian, then I respond in Fijian. Yeah. If I'm in Seward Village. No, dude.
So you know a little bit of Fijian. Would you say you're better in your own dialect or the Maoan dialect?
Hmm. That's a good question. Yeah, probably my own dialect. And because I'm like such a rookie, like if I go to Suva, like we're planning on doing in a few months time,
Mm.
like I'll probably then, you know, pick up a bunch more stuff over
Mm.
there and like there's weird things that like I'll do that, don't like I won't notice it until like after I said it,
Yeah.
like in mixing the two.
Yeah.
I don't know, does that happen to people?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
yeah,
It happens to me
yeah.
too. I had
Like
I still struggle with my own
Like the other
dialect.
day, like not the other day, but it's like last year. This one, for whatever reason, it stands out. Like we were just in the river, and I was like, "Oselu,"
Mm.
and like like toso means move,
Mm.
and liu means like in front.
Mm.
But like toso and liu is like the Bowen way to say it. So in our dialect, though, we skip
Also.
the t also. oso iliu, like so oso. And then instead of saying iliu, you would say imata. Like
Mm.
mata means like
In front.
in this version
Mm.
means in front. And so I was
Yeah, so
like,
you mix it.
yeah, I was like mixing. I was like, oso iliu, and I was like,
Oh,
came
no.
up from the river. I'm like, I'm such an idiot. So that's like honest, like, and like I don't know if it like helps anybody that like to know that like I also am like self-conscious about my ability to speak in Fijian, and like I think there's actually a lot of people who you grew up in the city and you didn't get to go home, and you grew up around people who speak
Yeah,
Bowen
yeah,
dialect, and like I think you just got to like if people are gonna hate, then like let them hate.
mm,
But like nobody who's ever doing better than you like hated on you. So
mm,
everybody who's like, if people are gonna make fun of you, that's because they're jealous of you. That's how
right.
I look at it.
Mm,
Like if you make fun of me, then it's because like you're also self conscious about something
mm,
yourself.
mm,
Like because it's true. Like everybody, if they're like projecting something on you, like they're also going through the same thing. Not necessarily the same thing, but they're going through something to a worse degree. So
right.
like if there's judgment being cast on you, like they are like judging themselves way harder.
Mm,
So I don't know. Just don't find your don't be identified by the things that you don't know. Like if you can speak Fijian and you can speak English, like that's better than like most of the people in Western countries. It's
mm,
just English.
mm,
Like I know like most of the people I know here, they can speak either Hindi and English and part Fijian, or they speak Fijian and English and like part Hindi. So like two and a half languages. Some people full all three,
mm,
you know? So it's like, who am I to judge? Like I might have skills in this area and that, but like I always like I always say to people, like, there's so many business owners I talk to, like, oh my, that's so stupid. Like, our staff are like this, and or like even overseas, like, Fijians, they can work hard, but like they just like they have no common sense. And it kind of comes across as yeah, they calling South Pacific Islanders like stupid. It's like how many languages can you speak? Like,
mhm,
well, like, yeah, it's not stupid. It's just like you haven't taken the time to like understand like where they're coming from.
right.
Not that like that should be an excuse for like bad performance, but like they're just skilled in different areas. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm
Mm,
skilled in some areas. I can't speak two languages, but I have other skills. So like I feel privileged, but I also have challenges
mm,
because like I was just thinking about this like last night. Like if I was like a fluent speaker in Fijian, I probably have so many more opportunities in different lanes than I do now.
mm,
Like, whether that's like in church, or in the village, like in the meetings. Like what I would say would resonate so much more with people. And like you don't think that like I wish I could do that, like with my people, like with my Matangali, with my village here. Like
mm,
that would mean a lot to me if I could like speak and be heard, and so but like I don't dwell on it. You just have to move on. Like you have to. Otherwise, like it's unhealthy. So, long story short, you will not struggle with the language barrier in Fiji. Because if you're just visiting for a while, like it's gonna be fun. People will talk to you. You just have to be mindful that like sometimes you're gonna get caught in a group of people that you're not gonna understand what they're saying.
mm.
And so, yeah. Um, how about this question?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's I'm not answering that one.
I got one here,
What's okay? Go ahead.
Ryan.
What up, Brian?
Regarding the topic of garbage collection on Vanolevu,
Yeah,
how small of a crew do you think would be needed to collecting garbage?
man. It would like it depends. Are we talking like along the highways?
Guess in general. Oh,
Yeah, I think like what you would what you would probably want to do is like I think a crew could just be like a group of like 10 people in like a 3-ton truck
mm,
that just drive down the road slowly, and they just like the brush cutting gang, right? They
mm,
pick up the garbage. That could even be something that the crews, the people who have the contracts to like mow the grass on the side of the highways, they do it. But like I've heard some people say like, I don't understand why the people who cut the grass don't just pick up the garbage. Like, it seems so silly. It's like because that would be freaking 2 or 3 times the work. Like picking up garbage, like
yes.
brush cutting, you're just like just like swinging it, right?
Mm.
Imagine picking up every single little piece of garbage, and you have to pick it up before you hit it with the brush cutter wire. Otherwise, it would just explode. Like that's what happens if you hit like a piece of plastic or a bongo wrapper, which is half the garbage on the side of the road. Like it just explodes everywhere. So like, um, I think it would be as easy as just getting like half a dozen to a dozen people in a truck and just like going slowly down the road. But like, I don't think there's any use like implementing a solution like that. To me, is like a band-aid fix to like the real problem, which is the people actually throwing it out of or littering, the litterers, the tossers, as we said yesterday. So I think like running like an awareness thing, like, you know, this is what you are. This is the effect. Like it makes our place look like crap. Like Bundle Level or Wheat Level, wherever it is your home. And so when you throw garbage, you're just throwing it out in your own yard. And nobody's gonna deal with that. It just affects like the way it looks around here. So like making people aware and running a program so that people like, so hopefully it stops doing it, and also coming up with fines and stuff for people who do it, and like implementing things like putting garbages like at the bus stops. Like every bus stop has a garbage, so wherever somebody gets off a bus, there's going to be a garbage. Like that kind of stuff would lessen the amount of work you'd have to do on the back end and addressing the symptom of the problem, which would be just having people going and picking the garbage up.
You guys talk about garbage pickup in town?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So how many people would you need for that?
How many people would you need to pick up garbage in a city?
Yeah, because you might be asking that, not just like rubbish collection on the road.
Right. Well, we didn't talk about that yesterday. If you're doing it in the city, like it would really depend on like on the infrastructure around your rubbish. Like if you have the right garbage bins and you have the right trucks, you can have one man, because the trucks have an arm in like a lot of countries. So it just goes out, picks up a garbage can, dumps it, puts it back, and they drive forward. So like in that case, you only need one guy, but you need a $2 million truck, right? And then you need the maintenance crew to look after it. So like, or you could just have like we have here, just those 3-ton trucks that have like 4 or 5 guys just like hoisting garbage over the edges, right?
Mm.
And so that is what is usually done. But
You talk about what Peter did, his brother did with the back pickup truck.
yeah, so that's another business idea too, is like solving people's rubbish issues and like getting rid of it for them. Because like there are certainly a lot of families who would pay like a minimal amount if you like could come up with like, if you have a vehicle like, or like a twin cab, doesn't have to be new. Most of the junk removal vehicles in Canada are like junk, because like they get beat up, right? And like you could just go talk to a community, go door to door, see how many people you could get, at what rate you could get them, like on a weekly schedule or whatever. Like what is it? Like if somebody came by and it was like a couple bucks or $5 a week, and like I would just have to like leave it out there on like Wednesday mornings. When I came home, it was gone. That'd be awesome.
Mm.
And like, you know what I mean? So, but you also have to have like the resources behind you. Like, where's that guy going to dispose of the garbage? So like that's easy to say out here in Sanganga because most of it's a rural setting, right? But like if you're in Suva, like where is that going to be?
Mm.
Or if you're in a city somewhere in the South Pacific, like do other South Pacific countries struggle with this? I don't know. I don't even know if people consider it a struggle in Fiji, but I think it's annoying. Where is this? Wanted.prods, PRODZ on Instagram. What's your hobby? So my hobby is fishing. It's one thing I love more than anything. I love my wife more than anyone, and I love God more than any being, I guess. But when it comes to things and hobbies, things to do, definitely fishing. So fishing was always number one, and rugby has always been my second. So came to a point in my life where I was spending a lot of time training and a lot of time, you know, in the mornings and a few times a week, and then my whole weekends were just consumed with like training and games and rugby all the time. And it was affecting. It was okay, but it was like taking time away from like business and Stephanie. And then when we decided to start having kids, like we sat down, we had like a real conversation about, okay, what are you going to decide here? Like you keep pursuing rugby, or you can choose business. If you go with rugby, like you better go all out and like what are your chances of becoming that professional athlete, right? That can make money. And so when I looked at rugby players around the world, and like I'm not saying I was like an amazing rugby player, but like if I was the best of the best, like I still my ceiling for like the limit earning capacity, it was exponentially higher if I became an entrepreneur than if I was like the best rugby player, because like then it's on me, and it's up to like me to like if I work harder, if I bet on myself more, I can go further as an entrepreneur, monetarily speaking, than I can as a rugby player. So, dude, definitely choose rugby if like that's what you're like gifted at. Like, go for it. But like the athletic journey is so short. Like these guys like they're done playing like by the time they're 40. Like, and then like that's not like you still need to make money. Like these guys aren't making fu money. Like where you can just most of these guys. And so like they still need to have something to do after. And so like maybe I can develop businesses that these guys, invest in, because there has to be life after sport. And that's the thing that a lot of people like don't think about. They just think, oh, woo, Ranandra and like Boti and all these guys, like they just get these overseas contracts and just making huge cash. Like life is so good and so easy. And it's like, how many people are asking them for money all the time? Like, do you know how much like their living lives cost? Like, have all these guys thought about like life after rugby? Because that is something that needs to be considered, because it doesn't last forever. Whereas like an entrepreneur, like I want to do this till I die. Like I love it. So like that's my hobby, and that's why I did not choose to pursue rugby full time.
Got one from Normally.
Oh yeah,
Are you still producing sandalwood?
sandalwood.
Mm.
Yeah. So we have a couple hundred sandalwood still growing up in the bush behind us, and then in a few probably in the next few months we'll be preparing the space again. So we did plant like over 2,000 seedlings that we germinated ourselves and looked after, and then her cyclone TC came, then TC Ana, and those are in a huge nursery like behind our house. We simply didn't have a place to like put them indoors, and so they all survived, but like it really stunted them, I believe, like because they were growing nicely, and then the hurricanes, we even put them down on the ground and like tried to cover them and like shield them as best we could, but man, they took a beating out there. And so when we transferred them into the ground a couple months later, they just didn't really move. Like there's a few out there still, but um yeah, it was pretty discouraging. But we're gonna get back to the sandalwood stuff. Yeah, indeed. What else do I got here? What's my favorite Fijian food? Okay, dessert, I would have to say boto. Boto, I think they call it in other places in Fiji lote. It's like I don't even know how to describe it.
Boto?
Yeah.
Like the frog boto?
No, like the banana dessert
Oh.
with coconut milk.
Oh.
Like some people describe it as like snot. Like it has like a really like sticky, like gooey like texture.
Is it like palolo?
Bakalolo? No, it's hard to, it's almost like banana. I think it's bananas mixed with cassava starch.
Oh.
And so it's like this like really Auntie Lenny, what's so I'll ask her here, this is live, guys. What's in boto? How do you make it? I'm asking my auntie. How do you make boto? Okay. Yeah, so it is. It is. So you grate the cassava and you mix it with the banana.
Oh.
Yeah. And then you like, oh, it's so good, dude. It's hard to describe. And then you put like
Coconut milk?
yeah, lolo on top of it. A meaty.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so tasty. So that's dessert. When it comes to
Food.
food, sheesh. Man, I'm I mean, it's hard not to argue with just like a good lobo, like
Yeah,
a good earth oven. Umu, or what do they call it in
someone.
Samoan?
I think.
Umu?
Mumu.
Yeah.
Mumu.
Uh, dude, I love nama so much. The nama that we had the other day, the sea grapes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So probably nama with if it was like a meal, it'd be like a walu kokonda with nama on the side. I think that'd have to be my best one.
Nama with
Walu.
walu.
Yeah. Like kokonda. Kokonda walu.
Kokonda
Yeah,
walu.
with
Oh, okay.
nama inside. Like yeah. Seaweed with like onions and tomatoes and everything. Yeah.
Would you try that?
My mouth is watering.
Wow,
Steph,
funny,
I know what
funny,
I want to
funny.
order for dinner.
Aseri watching.
Hey, so.
Botong gore tu ingai sulia be kurui. Alright, you wait there, Bati. I'll see you soon. Yeah.
Are they here?
No, I think she's back in the live.
Hey, hey,
Yeah.
hey. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining.
But what about that keikosu you tried on Sunday?
Oh, that's good.
Is
There's
that your
actually still
first
some in
time?
the fridge. That's what I'm going to eat after this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kaikoso. Sweet clams, you said?
Yeah, sweet
Yeah,
clams.
sweet clams. So we had like yeah, sea clams, I guess, from the saltwater.
Mm.
So there's kai from the freshwater, like freshwater clams, and we had the saltwater ones. And so yeah, you guys like cut them up, took
Yep.
a lot of the shells, cut them up, lemon,
Mm.
borro,
Mm.
chilies, and what borro which is chilies, and onion.
Mm.
Boo.
So
And why are you laughing?
now we're coming for that leftover in the fridge.
Hey! Oh, so there, that's funny. Oh, I'm gonna cover one more. No freaking way. So Meta has been fined a bunch. Meta. So Facebook was separate than Instagram before.
Mm.
Google owns YouTube, and Instagram and Facebook have now merged under Meta, the Meta banner. So Meta was hit with a record 1.2 billion euro. So that's probably like 3 billion Fijian fine by its lead European Union privacy regulator. Fine came after Meta continued to transfer data beyond. Yeah, so this is the Meta said in a statement that it will appeal the ruling, including the unjustified and unnecessary fine. Yeah, these companies are so big, and they literally put market caps like on like Apple. Like they're like, you are not allowed to claim like a market valuation of more than like what was it? Was it some just a certain amount of trillion, like 5 trillion? You're not allowed to say your company is more valuable than this many trillion.
Mm.
It's like some of these companies get so big that the governments are like they become bigger than like their net worth becomes like more than the countries that like
Take it by the government.
they're in. Yeah, like it's like they just get too big,
Mm.
and so then they just have to put like these. And this is what's dangerous, and this is what Meta's saying. It's like it's dangerous when people just start putting like random caps on things because like you know people just because like it's like no, you're getting too big, this is dangerous, like. And so but like also as citizens, like how do you like who's going to start the next Facebook?
Mm.
Like Meta is so big now, like Instagram, Facebook, like their combined users are like billions and billions of people, right?
Mm.
So these companies get so big, it's like there's no way to you can monitor them, but there's no way to like regulate them because like they have more resources than the governments,
Mm.
And so like this is like something like this is like the EU going like creating a fine for something that happened in 2020. Like that's 3 years ago, right? Like if I murdered somebody,
Mm.
like I'd be in jail tomorrow, you know?
Yep.
With the charges. Like these like that's how far behind like regulation and like lawmakers are to these tech companies
Mm.
because these move so fast. And that's the thing with AI and all the stuff that's happening right now. I'm gonna see if there's any more questions.
Oh, yeah, Kinsimera saying yes, it's Poto and Borodlewu mixed with cassava starch.
Okay.
Yes, it's called Lotte, I guess, in general.
Lotte.
Yeah.
Man, isn't that interesting, eh?
Duruka in Lolo with Dingana, Sigan, Petis, ah, Mouse Fiji, Fiji, or Cigana,
I'll finish. What?
Cigana, Petis.
No, I'm not gonna do that one. You know, people comment. You just say anything. You just like, who knows if it's
I
like
don't know if she spelled it wrong.
boy 679. What's a good opportunity in Canada? The best opportunity of all in Canada is the direct flights out of Vancouver that get you straight to Fiji. Thank you guys for catching us on this live. Is there one more question
Yep.
we got to do?
Yeah, with Ryan, do you guys have friends that are now looking to leave Canada for Fiji or other countries with better work-life balance? What would you recommend them before moving?
No, I do not have any personal friends, because most people, even family members, don't understand like why we're here.
Mm.
So, like, I have a lot of friends who don't understand why we're here, and so, like, we are such like we're thinking so long term. I'm thinking about like my kids and like their kids. So I want to build something that I can hand off, and so like, but people aren't in that like they're not into delayed gratification, and that's fine. And like, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to have a good life. Like, you don't have to like be the one building your own dreams. Like, you can sometimes live the best life, not going home stressing about like all the stuff that like we stress about working the 9 to 5. And so most people just aren't interested in this life, I would say, like making this kind of a sacrifice. And so people will only there will be people that only judge us or see us through the lens when we make it. And so until that time, like they won't see anything. But once we make it, they'll be like, "Oh, must be nice, like to be rich, or it must be nice to have a big house, or must be nice to have freehold in Fiji and a house in the village." It's like, yeah, but you didn't see this part, which is what you guys are getting to see right now. The part where we have a freaking studio light on the veranda plugged into a remote like power system so that we could do like lives for you guys. So that's what's fun about doing this journey, and that's why we appreciate you guys. Most people are not willing to do it, and so if you put yourself in one of the 1% who's willing to work hard and pursue your dreams and have open conversations and hear other people out, you're going to win. Until next time, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 4:30 right here in the same place.